Everyone in this room has been part of it, that extraordinary spirit of giving and caring that so many Up With People alumni share. Last October, this spirit of service traveled halfway around the world, from Phoenix, Arizona to the Masai Mara in Africa's southern Kenya. It traveled in the hearts and hands of alumni Jody and Jim Hardwick and the team of dental professionals they took with them to help people in great need. Jody and Jim met in Up With People in 1981, fell in love, and have built a life together. Jody has been a dental professional for over 35 years. At the Up With People Gala in 2018, they bid on the trip to Base Camp Explorer in Kenya's Masai Mara. Here, a traveler will find the largest collection on Earth of the world's great mammals. As for many who travel to this astonishing place, Jody and Jim found that the trip was life-changing. They were enchanted by the Maasai people, the wildlife, the land, and the tales of life on the Mara. During a visit to the medical clinic, they asked about dentistry needs of the local people. Their guide answered by pointing to a painful hole in his tooth. The need here is desperate in a region where money is scarce and dentistry is often archaic self-treatment. Jody and Jim raised money to assemble a team of 2 dentists, 6 assistants, and 25 bags of equipment and medicines. This past October, they and the team arrived on the Mara. In 4 days, the team saw 191 patients and performed 258 procedures. One young man rode a bicycle almost 2 hours for treatment. Small children came alone. People who'd lived with unbearable pain found relief. The Maasai people were extremely grateful and eagerly await the team's return in 2021. The adventure of Base Camp Explorer, the wildlife, the Masai Mara awaits you. The unknown tonight is how your life may be enriched once the magic of this place touches you. Welcome, Jambo.
Welcome to Together We Serve. Sorry, I'm really taken back by that video. Talk about the title of the show, Together We Serve, and the title of this episode, Embrace Your Servant's Heart to Elevate Your Business. How about elevating your heart? How about elevating people that are so poor that a young boy rides his bike by himself for 2 hours just to work on his teeth because it means so much to them? How we take so much for granted and so much is given to us in America. Would you ride 2 hours on your bike to get your teeth fixed? There's people in the United States that don't even get their teeth fixed in years, let alone riding their bike for 2 hours. This is the power of a servant's heart and serving together and making an impact. And in this case, my guest, Jim Hardwick, is making an impact in the world. Now, we all can't do that, but yes, you can, because you can be part of this. Let me bring my wonderful guest on. I'm bringing him on. A little technical difficulty. There he is there. Jim, welcome to the TV show.
Hi, Steve. Thank you. I was taken by that video, too, because I hadn't seen it for a couple of years. And we've been back 3 other times since then. So be anxious to share that with you.
Thank you. And I'm really speechless. You know me. I talk a lot and I love talking. Why does, I'm going to be very blunt with you, a bald white guy decide to go to Africa and work with people that need help? And why teeth and why dental? Because what's interesting with the video, and I'll let you talk about this, is everybody was smiling on the video. Very interesting.
Yes, it's quite a story. the bald white guy, which I refer to myself, I'm an emoji with glasses. And this journey is such that about our first trip over there, the first dental trip was 2020. And that's when we took our first team. And we got there because we'd gone on safari. And when I asked that question, I had been looking prior to that for about 8 years. How do I create a life of significance? How do I make a difference in this world? And the book that changed my life was Halftime by Bob Buford. And if you haven't read it, I highly encourage you to read it. And it's what you really do in the second half of your life to make a difference. So I had been on this search, and you know, my wife and I, her name's Jody, we'd always served and given, and we know what that's about. But I feel truly we've taken it to a different level. So we're the people that never wanted to go to Africa. It just wasn't important. We just didn't understand it. We like to travel the world, but it just wasn't on our bucket list. And then we went in 2018 because of the special relationship we had with the person that was taking a group. That's where I went to that clinic. And I've been in healthcare for 36 years. So I understand healthcare. I've been in hundreds and hundreds of hospitals across the country with distribution in medical devices. So when I walked into that clinic, and the picture they showed actually was not the clinic that I walked into at the time. That's a clinic that we actually did our services in the first year. But this clinic was a cinder block building with 2 rooms, a physician assistant, and nothing else. They had some tables, a couple chairs, some Maasai women and their children, and that's it. And it's amazing what these physician assistants can do. And when I walked out of that clinic, I said to Derek, which is the Maasai guide, I said, do they ever bring in a dental team? He said no, and that's when he pointed at his cavity. And Steve, at that point, God spoke to me, the Maasai chief spoke to me from years and years back saying, you're bringing a dental team. I've also started living my life around this time to become intentional. Because in the past, before intentionality kicked in, and I call it intentional servanthood, I would think thoughts like that, but then I wouldn't react. And so 5 years would go by, and be back in the car back in the United States going, it would have been cool to bring a dental team, but yeah. But no, I said, we're bringing a dental team. So I went back to the tent with my wife. She was actually standing next to me when I asked Derek, and she knows at this point how I'm thinking. And so she was ready for it. And when I asked her, I said, honey, which is the pivotal question, because she's a dental hygienist. I said, will you come alongside me if we bring a dental team back? These people have virtually nothing, and we have so much. And, to me, anybody in America has so much, period. And she goes, absolutely. And that's where we brought our first team back. And 10 months later, we brought a team of 8 people. We set up in a tent. We brought all our own supplies. We had no idea what we're doing. We were boiling our instruments, putting them in bleach. We saw 191 patients. And my goal was to take one person out of dental pain. And we far surpassed that. Fast forward, we just got back after our 3rd trip in March. In 4 days, we saw 291 patients and extracted 203 teeth in 4 days. 69% of these people were in pain. The average income in this region for the Maasai, which is the indigenous tribe, they're the warriors. They're the ones that jump. They're the jumping folks. They're the ones that are most well known in Kenya, even though there's only 1 million out of the 52 million people. The average income is $1,000 a year.
Wow.
And what that means is for them to get access to dental care, they got to go 45 or 65 kilometers. Most of them don't have transportation, if not all, majority. They have to take off work. And it's going to cost them between $75 to $100 when you extrapolate all those things together. So they're going to pay 10% of their income for the entire year to go work on their teeth. So what do? They find somebody with a pair of pliers. They grin and bear it. They go through pain. That's an issue. And now what we're seeing as we're going over there is candy and soda is destroying the kids' teeth. My wife saw the little girl. She had a cavity on every single tooth. It was just black, black, black. And unbelievable, she's not in pain. but it's because of the what they're eating, and they don't brush. So our goal is to continue to do education, create sustainability, and I'll talk about that in a second, and take people out of pain. So the full evolution on this is we are building a clinic over there. We have an acre of land that was donated by one of the Maasai families, and we're going to build a clinic to create that sustainability so they have access in this community, which is going to take thousands of people will have access. So that's how this old white guy ended up happening to do this. And it's my wife and I. This coming year, we're taking 2 teams because we're continuing to take teams. We're going to go to the Masai Mara area where we normally go, which is connected to the Serengeti. We're going to go there, and then we're going to go up to Samburu, which is the poor of the poor. So it is a life-changing experience. I will end up living there for 3 or 4 months a year eventually. But it's the last place on earth I ever thought we would have relationships. These people, some of these people we consider family. They are so bonded, and we're so bonded with them. And here's the thing that really gets me. And if you haven't been to Africa, it is an amazing, amazing place. And the African people, and Africa is so diverse, right? You got Egypt, you got Morocco, but as you come down into Central and Southern Africa, people call Africa the heartbeat of life. Okay. We as Americans, we complain about everything. Wrong salad dressing. What are you doing cutting me off? Go with the light's red, the light's green, blah, blah, blah. Those people have nothing. And they don't have depression, anxiety, divorce. They don't have what we live with on a daily basis in our culture. And it's staggering and it's infectious. And you want to be a part of that because when they don't have much, do they struggle? Absolutely. Well, every human struggles. But the way they live their quality of their life, it's so refreshing. And it's just empowering to be a part of that and to see that and to feel that.
Together We Serve, again, is the TV show. And I'm bringing that up because the Maasai people had to accept you as well. So it had to be a full community of you bringing in these Americans and them. How'd that happen? Were you partnered up with the Maasai?
Well, I got to tell you, the first time this gentleman that took us over is involved with Base Camp Explorer. Now it's called Saruni Base Camp. It's one of the top safari camps in Kenya, if not the all of Africa. And so they are very much, they've co-partnered with the Maasai. So all their employees are Maasai. And Spine Williamson started this like 25 years ago. And that's when he created safari camps to create animal sustainability and also create jobs. And then they also do tons of community service. So when we said, I went to this gentleman by the name of John Parker out of Denver, tremendous man. I said, John, Jody and I want to bring a demo team. Let's make it happen. He went back to the powers that be, and then they went to the people, the people around Kenya that have pull. They said, nope, no way. They're not coming. They can come and talk to the schools, but we don't want them. And the reason is because they had a dental team there before, and they did not, I'll just be blatant, they didn't have the heart to serve. They had the heart to come, do dental work. People left and had pain afterwards. They were there to play and vacation on the guys doing a dental work. And it was very, very sad. But John is so obstinate. He said, they're coming. I'm putting this on, my word on this line. They're coming and they'll do a job, the job that you want them to do. And so he was able to get it to be pushed through. And we blew their socks away. Our clinicians are so dedicated. We're working 8 to 9 hours a day. And put in perspective, an average dentist, a general dentist, pulls 3 to 4 teeth a month. Our dentist that went with us last trip in March, he pulled 103 teeth in 4 days. Their hands are shaking. These Maasai have deep roots. And so to pull their teeth sometimes. They are just, and their hands are all numb. And because we've proven ourselves, and we've been back now 3 times, and what they love is we weren't a one and done. We have embraced, and we are part of this community today. And we have a very, very solidified relationship with this base camp. And that's how it started. But if it could have easily been shot down, and I wouldn't be telling my story today.
Yeah. And that's, again, servant mindset and together and community and all that. When we first met, you said something I'll never forget, how much this has changed your business life. How has that happened?
Well, I live every day trying to figure out how to serve others. And I was a VP of sales for 25 plus years, in sales for 36 years, in healthcare distribution, medical devices. And now I'm a sales consultant for the last 4 years, having the most fun I've ever had. And when you serve your clients, and that's the number one priority, not about how much money I can make, how many clients I can have, but how can I serve them the best way possible to make them successful? When you have that attitude, it's amazing what happens. Everything comes, it's just, the rewards are tenfold. And it's so empowering. For instance, in my practice, my consulting practice, I don't worry about where my next client's going to come from. They just come. And I think it's because of that mentality of serving versus taking. Taking mentality, how much money can I make? All those things aren't that important. And let me share this with you, Steve. There's a difference between, and I'm all about, and I wrote a program, we'll talk about it in a minute, about embracing your servant's heart to elevate your business. My company's called Magnificent Significance. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But the difference between creating a life of significance and success is, and I love this, success is all about me. What can I acquire? How much money can I make? Me. And we are a me society. Significance is all about others. What knowledge, wisdom, money, experiences can I share with others? It's the significance that helps you sleep at night. It's the significant that warms your heart. It's the making a life of significance that builds that legacy that we all strive for. And people don't understand you can make a life of significance. You don't have to go to Africa to do that.
Yeah.
You just have to be intentional about being open to serve others.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't see. Jim, I can't go to Africa. It's cool what you do, but man, that's not what we're going to do. Well, that's fine. But does your neighbor need help? Do you know somebody that needs your ear? They need to be heard. They don't even feel like they're seen. Funny story. My wife was in the mall or shopping, and she sees this young gal sitting on a bench. And, this is just, to me, divine intervention, but she got this tug to say, go hand her $20. Now, why would you get that? But she listened intentionally. I can't stress that enough. And she went over and handed the gal $20. And the gal just looked up at her and said, thank you so much. And Jody said, you're welcome, and walked away. Jody wasn't there to hear her life story. But something, and I'm a Christian man, God, the earth, propelled her to do that. Now, why I always talk about being intentional, it's real easy to have that thought and just keep walking. Well, maybe she's not nice. Maybe she doesn't need it. Maybe she's rich. Who knows? But who are we when we're called to do something to stop and not do that?
Yeah. It's I talk about this a lot. We've talked about this. The significance of your servanthood can be as little as that. I mean, I talked to somebody yesterday, and it just falls in line with what you said. They were saying, yeah, I was talking to this person, and I said something about them and they smiled. They go, I've had a terrible day today. Your mentioning my clothing just made my day. A simple comment about how that clothing fits you, whatever that comment was, may have changed that whole day for somebody. We can't overthink it. We just have to be intentional. Just do it. Don't expect any outcome, but you serve them.
Yeah, exactly. And can I tell a quick story?
Please.
So after the dental team leaves, Jody and I stay around for a little bit because we have meetings to take care of. It is a nonprofit and it is a business. So we were there, and there's a group of women, they call them the mamas, and they do beading work. And if you can see this bracelet, and it's made out of leather, but this is the type of work they do. Then they're able to sell it, which is fantastic, because the women are the ones that take care of the home. They build the homes, they run the homes, and so it gives them income so they can help enhance their homes. Otherwise, they don't have really income. So they do beading work. So we went up there and we were looking at some of the wares they sell, some of the beads. And there's a leathersmith there. His name is Oscar. He's about 27 years old, and he's in a wheelchair. He's been in a wheelchair for many years. And we went and we asked Oscar a question because we were looking for something specific. And he goes, I don't think we have it up here, but I think we might have it down at our shop, which is next to where the dining room is. And so Oscar said, follow me in his wheelchair. And he takes off. Now, mind you, Oscar has to take this wheelchair a mile. I don't know how distant, but I'm sure it's about a mile or 2 miles to get there on roads that are worse than Mars because there's no infrastructure out in the bush. And these roads, if it rains, it's just mind-blowing how, even on a car, it's hard. A Range Rover, it's hard to get through. So he's doing his wheelchair every day to this area. So he comes out of where he was sitting at the table, and he shoots off, and we're starting to follow him about 50 yards down the path. And I look at his wheelchair. This thing's falling apart. It's like put together by duct tape. And I looked at Jody and I said, we've got to get Oscar a wheelchair. We got to make this happen. And so we went down to the shop and, we said goodbye. And then we went over to Nairobi and talked to the CEO, our partnership with the safari camp. And we said, we'd like to have your help if you could, please. We want to get Oscar a new wheelchair. Could you please go out and do some research and then let us know what the costs will be? Now, I don't know what a wheelchair costs. I'm not been in a wheelchair. And people say, well, get an electric wheelchair. Well, if they don't have electric wheelchair, or how are you going to service it? And so you would just need a basic wheelchair. So they call me a couple days later, or a couple weeks later, and they say, hey, we found the wheelchair. Do you want us to present it to Oscar, or do you want us to ask Oscar first? I said, this is Oscar's legs. I want you to ask him first, because if it's not the right wheelchair, we got to find something else. They showed him the wheelchair, and he said, this wheelchair is my dream wheelchair. So I'm thinking, my thought is $3,000, $2,500 for a wheelchair, of course, because I don't know. Steve, when I asked him what the price of the wheelchair was, $250. It was like, to change this individual's life and to give him new legs only cost $250. And this story is not about, oh, look how kind Jim and Jody are. I'm making this story to say, look, by being intentional, $250 can change somebody's life. I was filling my car up for $80 to $100 when the gas is $6 a gallon. $250 to impact this gentleman. That's what being intentional about is, looking at, seeing the needs of others. We were in Samburu, and there's a blind gentleman that he has to have, and he's a recording musician. He's got songs now, I guess, Christian music. We were up in Samburu, which is the poor northern Kenya, and he has they take a kid out of school, high school kid, and he has to take him around the village because they didn't have a walking stick. which, to me blows me away, because why can't you just get a regular stick? I don't know that why. But a walking stick, a blind walking stick from Amazon is $15. Guess what? We sent them a walking stick. $15. So I just want to share that story, because I want to encourage everybody, when you wake up tomorrow, think about, I'm going to be intentional about serving somebody. I'm really going to try. And I would give you an example the other day. You know that old lady in Costco that's about 80 years old, and she just bought a whole pack of bottled water, and she's got her cart next to, and she's got her trunk open. Man, that's a great way to serve. Run over there. Hey, let me get this for you. Throw it in her trunk, take her cart, put it back in the cart lane, make her day. Because guess what? My mom's no longer alive. But if I knew somebody did that for my mom when she was in her 80s, that warms my heart.
And the intentionality in searching that out, being intentional for your search to serve people. Like you said, oh, I see a case of water. It's heavy for her. Let me go help her. It just magnifies this whole thing to another level. And we're going to talk about MagSig. I'll put the website up. We're going to take a break here real quick. But again, audience, what Jim's saying, you don't need to build a foundation in Africa. You can go to your soup kitchen, your homeless center, or a place that's taking care of, alcoholic, and feed them or speak to them, or go to a prison or whatever it may be. There's many ways to serve, and it's not hard. The only hard
Well,
thing is taking action.
and when you serve, you're an example for your children.
Amen.
That's a powerful thing for you to show them what it means.
Yeah.
And trust me, most of the kids in America, not all of them, but a lot of them have very good lives. But really, how many toys can a person have? Maybe take about half those toys that you get, because you get new toys every Christmas or birthday. Go take them to a child center. Go take them to a homeless shelter. Those children that are suffering could use a new toy that you have plenty of. Those little things like that, and have them deliver the toys with you. That's powerful
Mind-blowing.
stuff.
Yeah. And you're right. Let's think of Africa. Anybody in America is way better off than probably the top people in Africa that are living in Maasai and other places. Just think of it that way. Yeah, and I'm sorry you're struggling to pay rent, but you got a house underneath, you got food, your children are going to school. That's a lot for a lot of other countries, including Africa. That would be like a mansion for them. It would be like
Oh,
living like a king, and you know that because you've lived that,
yeah.
and it's so powerful. So we're at the bottom of the hour here. We're going to take a quick break because Jim has just spit out a lot of great, wonderful things here. Let's let him get a glass of water. I'm going to walk you through his website, and you're going to see some more wonderful pictures of the Maasai. I just love the music, too, as we were playing that video at the beginning. But we're going to see more of what he's doing. We're going to come back and talk about magnificence and significance.
Call it Mag Sig. It's easier.
MagSig. There he goes. That's why I love the guy. He's helping me out already. So we'll be back 6 minutes. We'll see y'all in a few minutes. Well, welcome back, everybody, to Together We Serve TV show. Such a powerful message that Jim has put out with this trip to Africa. And I want to put out, he's going to let you know how. But you could be part of this trip as well. He is looking for people to join him on the next venture. He's going to give you dates. They just had it in September a month ago or a few weeks ago. They just were out in Africa. So if you want to partake in this and be that servant heart to go out there and help, there's so many things that you can do out there. And he'll talk more about that. Let's bring Jim back. Jim, welcome back. Let's pull you up. There you are. There he is. Welcome back, Jim.
Thank you. I do want to clarify two things.
Okay.
One is Hardwick Foundation, which is our dental program. The other one is Magnificent Significance. And let me share that real quick. And so when I got back from Africa and we started doing this work, especially the dental work, I started thinking, there might be a story here. There might be a way to share what it means to serve with others. And I'm a sales guy by nature. So, and I say this quite often is I wasn't in, nobody wants to hear another sales guy write a book or sales talk. Yeah, if you need sales help, seek them out. I mean, I'm a sales consultant, for heaven's sakes. But there's about 50 million sales books that are written. So go out and pick one and read it and follow it. So I started thinking, how can I relay or bring together my service with and help business owners with my story? And so which I think all people should do, if you're not an expert in something, you need to hire an expert. So I hired a coach and I hired an editor. And I spent a year writing a program called Embracing Your Servant's Heart to Elevate Your Business. And Steve showed some of that there's 4 pillars and there's 16 different sections altogether. And the pillars are the mindset reset, reigniting your passion, manifesting the art of trust, and champion magnificent significance. And it's really, the whole program's about how do you create that servant attitude? What do you need to change in order to think that? How can it impact your business, your employees, your family? How willing are you willing to listen to feedback versus just, take it in, but not truly listen? Sometimes we get arrogant in our approach. And so what I'm going to do, and when what the program is, because Kenya is very comfortable for us, and because we know the base camp so well, the safari camps, I'm taking business owners, leaders that want to work on how to create a life of significance. We're going to go on safari for 6 days. And again, this is separate from the dental. Dental goes in March. This program will be September of 25. And we'll be there for 6 days, and it's for spouses also. But 2 hours a day, I'm going to grab you, and we're going to go with 8 of your peers, and we're going to be discussing my program. And it's just not going to be Jim on his, preaching. It's going to be, we're going to have interaction. We're going to talk about our issues. We're going to talk about what it means to serve others. And the reason people say, well, why Kenya? Well, I want to get people out of their comfort zone. Also, Africa is a big continent. It's intimidating. And where do I go? What's safe? Let's go to the Congo. No, they're having a civil war. Ethiopia. Parts of it are safe. Other parts aren't. We understand Kenya, and we're very comfortable there. It's very safe. Nairobi's their capital. I feel safer in Nairobi than I do most cities in America. Not all major cities in America. So I want to get you out of your comfort zone. So when you're going through the program and you're sitting there, you have a chance to reflect, especially when we go on safari a couple times a day and you're sitting in front of 18 lions. It just shows you how amazing the world is, and and then you can reflect on what a difference you want to make in your life. The other reason why I want to encourage people to take their significant other is, if you're really intentional about this, you're going to make some changes, and your spouse might be going, what's going on with you? You need to walk through this together. So I want to get people out of their comfort zone. I want to get people be reflective and thinking, because I can do this same program at the Holiday Inn Express in Phoenix, Arizona. But you go home at night The water heater broke. The kids aren't doing their homework. The dog ran away. And you think you have time to reflect, and you had a turkey sandwich at lunch, right? No, you don't have a chance to reflect because you're going to have a long flight, which we do every year, back from Kenya. And once you've watched all the episodes of Friends on the back of the TV, now you can sit there and you can start reflecting, wow, how am I going to make a difference? Then lastly is I will continue us 8. If you've ever been to summer camp as kids, which most of us have, you know how you get so tight with those friends and you think, oh, I wish this would never end. Hey, we're going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're going on safari. We might see a kill, which is the most horrific, wonderful, beautiful, terrible thing to ever see in your life, but it's the cycle of life. When you go through those things together, we are going to be tight. And so we're going to continue once we get back, because the goal is for you not only to change your behavior or enhance your behavior, also to impart that onto your employees. And then your customers are going to feel it. That's when that ball starts rolling. And Steven made a comment earlier. He's done some change. I mean, here's a guy with great servant's heart, but he has also been doing some changing, and he's seeing his world of business is just going in the right direction, and the momentum is picking up. Why? It's because of his attitude and the way he serves. But by serving, I think you have to build trust, you have to create vulnerability, and people need to know where your heart is. And once they see that, they want to spend time with you, they want to buy from you if you have a business, they want to be a part. And when you truly have that service mindset, here's the other thing about business. People will pay more because you get what you pay for. And how many times have people said, oh, I can get it less expensive someplace else, and then they come back to next day, 6 months later, a year later, lessons learned. We've all learned those lessons. But it's really truly understanding and trusting somebody that what they say they're going to do, they're going to do. And I hate to say it, sometimes that's rare.
Yeah.
That's why we differentiate ourselves.
Absolutely. And that's scary to say. And here's the other thing, audience, and I talk about this a lot. What you're talking about, Jim, is think of yourself as 7, 8 years old. It's Christmas Day. And you're running down to that tree. You're getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. You never do because you're a kid. You will sleep in. But that one day a year, you get up because there's a gift waiting for you. That's how I feel every day I serve. And just looking at the pictures I was sharing at the break, everybody's happy. And you got people living there, don't know when their next meal is coming, but they're smiling with you guys. And they're happy. Here in America, we wouldn't be having that. Unfortunately, it's just true.
Well, I had the opportunity to go invited into a woman's house. She's one of 4 wives, and she has 2 kids in junior high school. She lives in a dirt home made out of cow dung and dirt. And it's a room, very small house, all made out of dirt. Their clothes are completely clean. They have virtually nothing. She's got a steel box to keep all their possessions in. They cook a fire right in the middle, so that's where the kids do their homework at night. There's 2 small little vent holes on each side where not windows, because they don't have the technology to build the windows. And I hit my head on the ceiling, and dirt comes down on my cap and all. And I was so humbled by that experience. I walked out of there with tears in my eyes. And then I walk out to all these little kids laughing and playing, everybody smiling, like you said. And I said to the guy that was doing some filming for me, I said, whose life is really better? I was so humbled in that moment. It was unbelievable. And so that's impactful. And that's why when it just makes you want for us to go back and to continue that and to see what they have. And sidebar story, there was a woman, her mother was sitting there doing some beading or whatever, and she can't walk to town anymore to do beading because when she was washing her clothes in the river 6 months earlier, a hippopotamus came up and broke her femur. Now, how many people do you know that the hippopotamus broke their femur. Hippopotamuses are mean. They don't eat people, but they kill more people than any other animal in Africa. That's a good trivia question. So if you ever are playing
There you
trivia,
go. I
so
just won my trivia contest.
there you go.
And let me ask you, Jim, because as you're telling the story, you're walking, you're hitting your head, you sit down, and you're talking. How long you spent? An hour or two there? Do you remember?
Yeah.
So let's say
An
it's
hour or
2
two.
hours. How many times did they complain?
Oh, they don't complain.
They just
They
never
don't know.
complain.
I don't know if they know what complaining is,
There
because
you
that's their
go.
life. Their life. If you don't have anything and nobody else around you don't have anything. I mean, they got a roof over their head. They raise cattle and sheep and goats. Those are their possessions. But if they don't have all the materialism, and they do have food and they have a roof and they have health, if you scrape it all away, what's there to complain about? Amazing.
Well, no, it is. And think about, audience, I want you to think about this. Whoever's listening and recording, I was just on a Zoom this week and they introduced, oh my God, I've been flu and I've had the sniffles. I had to be in bed for 3 days. Complaining. But here's a family that lives in a small little hut made out of dung, and they're as happy as we could be at Christmas Day. It's just this perspective here that I really want to make a point of. Hope you're getting it, that I'm getting. And when I first met Jim, this is the perspective I felt. And I told him before the show, he's changed my life because he's led me, and I've been on the path, but sometimes we need that little motivation. We're human. God made us fallible for a particular reason. So I can lean on a Jim Hardwick and go, God, what he's doing, I got to follow that path. So I want to jump in the foundation before we run out of time here, because that's the dental part. How can people help, and what's that all about?
Yeah. And thank you so much for that. We are in the process of raising money for our clinic. The goal is to raise $600,000. At $400,000, we break ground, and we can build it probably for that, a little bit under, but then we got to have the money for the sustainability. And so you can go on the website, it's shown below, hardwickfoundation.org. And here's the cool part, people. We've got 255,000 raised already. We're so close. I see all this political stuff going on in America. They're spending millions. I need, 600,000 to create a life of stability for healthcare for next 30 years, and hopefully my grandkids will take over someday. And that's what we're doing. So here's what I could ask. If it's in your heart to give, great. Or to pray for us, thank you. Or to just share it with somebody, we'd be blessed and let somebody else know, because it's that type of spirit, and somebody to give monetarily makes a huge difference in how we can affect. So that's our foundation. We're still going to take dental teams every year. And one of the reasons we take dental teams, and we're going to continue to take and go to different places in Kenya, is because not only do we impact the people from a triage standpoint and go in and just, bam, handle the pain, mostly extractions and fillings, but we also, it's the people we take. We're taking 26 people next March. Those people, it's life-changing. These are dentists, hygienists, assistants, a few other, helpers. And they come back saying, this is unbelievable. This is great. So that's the foundation. We sometimes think we're overwhelmed. We're like, what are we doing? But we've created a nonprofit, and it has been just a blessing. In the days that we kind of look at each other, my wife and I go, we feel like we're out of our league. Something happens, and all of a sudden, bam, we know we're in the right place.
Okay, we're going to do something unique on a TV show. I'm going to donate right now, and you're going to watch me live do the donation. If I can find, there he is. So you can see it. I'm sharing, right, Jim? Am I sharing the screen? Yep. So I'm going to donate now $30.
Thank you.
So I want people to follow my lead. And I'm just going to do PayPal. Nobody cares. I don't think you're going to be able to see any of this. Sure not. Oop. Cancel. Bear with me. So, Jim, what is why should people donate again?
By donating to our foundation, you are impacting people that are in pain and making a difference in people in the world. And rest assured, 99.9% of everything you donate goes to Kenya. We do not take a salary. And full disclosure, the only thing that gets paid, the money for myself and my wife's flights to Kenya. Everything else goes to the organization. And I think that's important to understand. We're a nonprofit, and most nonprofits have an employee, but we're not that big. But we want to create and let people know where your dollar goes. And so I'm sharing that because that's that trust I want to build. It's set on GoFundMe, $32,000. That's because we really have two different funds. We have the foundation fund for the hospital, and then we have our annual tour funds. But it all goes to the right place. But Steve, thank you for that. And
so you see, everybody, I'm one of 82 donors. I did the $5 tip to GoFundMe. I'm actually going to put the link in the chat. I'll pull this off because we don't need to see that anymore. So if you can, we're not saying you have to, but if you can and you can donate, I'm going to throw it on the actual GoFundMe link. And I'm going to share that while we're closing up here. So there it is. Go follow my lead. No shame here, everybody. I'm not trying to shame you. I'm just telling you I'm going to practice what I preach. The servant's heart. This is a powerful thing that he's doing. It's more than a thing. It's this journey him and his beautiful wife are doing. And, give her a hug for me. I'm going to say that publicly because she's a big part of this as well.
Oh.
We got a few minutes left. Let's have some fun. While you guys are out there donating, I want to ask you a special question.
Okay.
So I've just reserved a Gulfstream for you to travel anywhere in the world. It's got 4 seats. 5, because I want you and your wife to go, because I love your wife. I'm not married yet, but I can't wait to. So you have 3 empty seats. Dead or alive, who would you invite, and where would you fly to?
Invite Gandhi and, of course, Jesus, but that's usually the go-to. Gandhi, Jesus, and Abraham Lincoln.
Where are we flying?
Excuse me?
Where are we flying to?
I would fly to, I've been to 41 countries, and they're all special. But most recently I was in, that's so hard because everything, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I would say because I was just there not too long ago, I think I would fly everybody to Switzerland.
Beautiful.
Switzerland is such a beautiful, cool place, and it's clean, and it's kind of the neutral place of Europe. And with the World Wars, Switzerland didn't get that much involved because they have all the money. So they kind of arm's length from Switzerland. So it's kind of a neutral place, which would be great for those 3 individuals.
Well, and they get great chocolate too, by the way. I'm sure there's great chocolate in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Jim, I want to thank you. It's been a blessing meeting you way back when. It's a blessing to have you on. We're going to do some things together. This May donation, there's much more that's going to happen. We'll talk more about that. Audience, again, there's the link to donate. I'm going to push for it because this is it's not a cause for Jim. It's not a cause for me. It's not a cause for Jim's wife, Jody, right? Is that your wife's name, Jody? Jody. Yes. It's a cause for the Maasai. And you know what? Also, somebody looks this and then goes to another country in Africa and starts doing something there. And somebody goes to another country and maybe in Thailand and helps there. And somebody has a country in Singapore and helps there. This is the whole idea: is we band together, build this network of giving and philanthropic opportunities to make and change the world. We'll see you all next Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. The Together We Serve TV show. You're going to learn more about the NFL and how agents work. See you all. Have a great day.
Thanks.